The next part of the rule says that any member or members of the offensive team either stand or gather around a base which a runner is advancing towards, and this would be either to confuse or make the play more difficult for the fielders. Then that runner should be called out due to the interference of his teammates. So this is if a runner or runners gather around a base to confuse or hinder the fielders, the defensive team, the runner advancing toward that base shall call out. And this is related somewhat to the next rule, which is that any batter or runner who has been put out or a runner who has just scored either some way hinders a play being made on a following runner, and then that following runner then would be declared out. So any batter, this includes both batters and runners, who has been put out or just scored, they hinder the play being made a following runner, then such a runner shall be called out. So this could happen not only sites specifically at home plate, but a lot of times you might see this if there's a double play being made. So if we have a runner and the batter hits a ground ball maybe to the second baseman, and the second baseman were to flip the ball over here to the shortstop, and then this runner here who started the play on first base, maybe he's coming in, maybe he basically, we're saying here that he has to get out of the way and allow the shortstop to make the throw on the play. He can't interfere with him in any way, or then both he and he would be out on the play, and then the runner could be called out on the interference. And actually, the very next rule that we see specifically addresses the situation of a double play, and it's a pretty long one, but it says that if the base runner deliberately interferes with a ball or a fielder who is in the act of fielding it, then the runner has an obvious intent to break up a double play, then immediately the ball is dead. The umpire should call the runner out for interference, and also he would call the runner or the batter runner out because of the action of his teammate. And then it goes on to say that in no event can runners advance bases or runs be scored because there has been a play in which a runner has committed this interference. So let's break that down here. That if a runner deliberately interferes with a batted ball or fielder making a play with an obvious intent to break up a double play, then the runner is out. The runner who we're talking about here, who was the one who committed the interference, then the batter or the batter runner is also out. And then thirdly, no runs may score or runners advance. So the rules are very clear about this, that if a runner deliberately interferes with a fielder in this situation, that nobody is to advance, and so then also that the ball is dead as soon as the interference is committed. And then in fact the rules are so specific about it that the very next rule pretty much repeats this same kind of wording, only they change it to include that instead of the runner here, they say that the batter or the batter runner. So who the batter or batter runner, we're referring to the same player. And so if it's the batter runner that deliberately interferes with this attempt to make a double play, then basically the same thing. The ball is dead, and then the batter runner is out, and then the next closest base, whoever the runner advancing to that base, he would also be called out. So the runner where the double play would have likely been made is out. And then of course the same thing, no runs may score or runners advance. So that's kind of like the same rule repeated twice with just a slight word change there. The next rule then perhaps would have made sense to introduce this one first, but this one here is referring specifically to a double play, whereas the next rule just basically says that if a runner fails to avoid a fielder who's attempting to make a play on a batted ball, or he somehow intentionally interferes with a ball that the fielder has thrown, then that runner shall be out due to the interference. So the fielder or the runner fails to avoid the fielder attempting to make a play on a batted ball. So that then basically covers all the ground there, that whether it's a double play or just trying to make a play maybe at first base, then the runner should be called out for interference. And finally, we see that if a ball touches a runner before it reaches a fielder, so touches a runner before touching fielder, then he would be out. So this is similar to the way that we looked at it back when we just did general ways a runner could be put out, and that is if the ball hits him in fair territory, he is out. But the reason that we have this rule as well is because it goes on to say that if there is a situation where perhaps the ball deflects off of a fielder or goes between a fielder's legs and then hits the runner, then the runner is not called out generally. So basically what we're saying here is that overall, if you're a runner on the base paths, you should probably try to avoid the ball at all costs, and also to avoid all fielders, or you are at risk of being called for batter or runner interference.